Thank you very much for coming along. This has been a very productive day for the UK in the sense that the European Council has approved the agreement that's been negotiated over the last couple of months, and I thank them again very much for their work. I particularly thank Michel Barnier and his team. I thank Jean-Claude Juncker, President of the Commission, for all the personal effort that he has put into getting this deal done. And I want to stress that this is a great deal for our country, for the UK. I also believe it's a very good deal for our friends in the EU. And what it means is that we in the UK can come out of the EU as one united kingdom. England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland together. And it means we can decide our future together, we can take back control, as the phrase goes, of our money, our borders, our laws together, and we will be able to do free trade agreements around the world. And we can also build now, after 3.5 years, we can build now on our relations with our friends and partners in the EU. And it will be a very exciting period now, as it were, to get to the positive side of that project. The extraction having been done, the building now begins. And I'm very confident that when my colleagues in Parliament study this agreement, that they will want to vote for it on Saturday and then in succeeding days. This is our chance in the UK as Democrats to get Brexit done and come out on October the 31st. This is our chance to focus on our priorities, the people's priorities, the NHS putting 20,000 police on the streets, lifting up funding of education across the country, the biggest expansion of the living wage. Those are the things I think the people of our country want us to be focusing on in addition to Brexit. We've been at this now, as I say, for 3.5 years. It hasn't always been an easy experience for the UK. It's been long, it's been painful, it's been divisive. And now is the moment for us as a country to come together. Now is the moment for our parliamentarians to come together and get this thing done. And, as I say, to begin building a new and progressive partnership with our EU friends, with whom, of course, we share so many priorities. Now, I have to go to dinner. I'm late, fairly soon. But I'm told to keep this very tight indeed. But I'm going to go to Laura Koonsberg of the BBC.
Thank you very much. We can keep this very tight. 2 very quick questions. Why are you confident this can get through Parliament when it doesn't seem to be the case at home? And what on earth will you do if this falls on Saturday?
Well, thanks, Laura. I think that there is, as I say, a very good case for MPs across the House of Commons to express the democratic will of the people, as we've pledged many times to do, and to get Brexit done. And as I have never tired of telling you, and I repeat again, I don't think there is any case for delay. We should get on and get it done by October the 31st. Robert.
Prime Minister, was there literally no other way of getting the deal other than to turn over your partners in government, the Democratic Unionist Party?
I think this is a very good deal for every part of the UK and particularly for Northern Ireland. And I would point out that, as I say just now, from the beginning, Northern Ireland will be able to join with the rest of the UK in doing free trade deals around the world, and all the other benefits that flow from membership of the UK market, and of course, without having any checks, any infrastructure of any kind at the border in Northern Ireland. And I think, in that respect, it is a great success. I'm going to take 2 more questions, and I'm going to go to distinguished Mr. Dimbleby in the front.
How will this deal help heal the deep divisions over Brexit in the country?
I think that's a very, very important question, and I do think that the answer is that it will, because what it will enable us to do is to get, as I say, the process of extraction behind us and enable us to come together and focus on building a new partnership with our friends across the Channel, our friends, not just our friends in Brussels, but obviously in every other European capital. And one of the things that we're doing is building and strengthening our bilateral relations as well, and expanding our network across the European capitals. George Parker. And then that's it, I'm afraid.
Come on, you can miss a bit of the dinner.
No, I was asked to take 4 questions. I'm going to
take a few more. Prime Minister. Yeah, take a few more. Prime Minister, we heard what Jean-Claude Juncker had to say earlier about the fact that he personally didn't think there should be an extension to the Brexit process beyond October the 31st. Did you ask your fellow leaders to make a similar commitment, and have they done so?
Well, my view has been very clear for a long time. I don't think that delay is to the advantage of the UK or indeed of the whole of Europe. I think people want to move this thing on. It's been going on for a long time, and that's a view that seems to be quite widely shared. Tom, and then Pippa, and then that really is it. Okay, Tom, Pippa, and then Beth, and then that's it.
Prime Minister, you've suspended the whip from 21 Tory MPs when they voted for the Ben Act. Will you treat this vote on Saturday as a similar confidence motion, and will you suspend the whip from any Tory MPs who don't vote for this deal?
I'm not going to get into whipping in this illustrious form. What I will say is that I do think there is a very good case for voting for this deal on all sides of the House, and we will certainly be taking that vote very seriously.
Prime Minister, I have a second quick go on the whipping. Would you restore the whip for the 21 MPs that you have ejected from the party? And why should Labour MPs particularly trust you to deliver on your promises in the political declaration over workers' rights? That's a big problem for them.
Thank you, Pippa. On the vote, it's a big and important vote, and we'll be making further announcements about that in due course. And there are a series, as colleagues, as you understand, there are a series of votes. On the political declaration and that text, I do think it is a good text. It gets to the heart of what we want to achieve as a UK in our relations with the EU in the future, a best-in-class free trade deal, but also a fantastic new deep and special partnership that we want to build. Yes, of course, it does also contain important provisions and commitments that this country gladly makes about our determination to maintain the highest possible standards, both for the environment and for social protection. We make those commitments gladly, and they're entirely right for our country to do. Beth, positively last question.
Thank you. Prime Minister, Nigel Dodds said earlier today that you were too eager by far to get a deal at any cost, and the cost has been their support. You have the deal, but you don't have the votes. Your predicament no better than Theresa May's. Are you making the same mistakes that she did? Well, I think, as I say, thanks, Beth, I think that this is a very good deal. I'm very confident that when MPs of all parties look at this deal, they will see the merit of supporting it, getting Brexit done on October the 31st, and honouring the mandate of the people, honouring the promises that were made repeatedly by parliamentarians to the people to get Brexit done, and giving us all a chance to move on. I think the imperative is very, very strong. The opportunity is great, so let's do it. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I'm so sorry.